Woo! And we made it to Friday. My goodness, we're getting another cold front again. I'm over winter. Once Christmas is over, I'm done. I'm done with it. Makes my bones hurt. My goodness. Who did I miss in here at the pre-party? I see Trixie made it in. Hey, Trixie. Chris Melcher, what's up? Cereal Boomer, hello. I saw Kentucky. Misty Dew, what is up, girlfriend? Hey, Rhonda. So glad you made it in. Oh, we have Brandy Neal here. Hello, hello. Woo! I heard some of you guys have been really tearing up the YouTube streets this week. Couldn't be more proud to call you friends. Absolutely love it. Some people have been asking for a follow-up on Phoenix's father, Josh, that was on the other day. And we have an update I posted on the community tab. I'm not sure with what is going on if he will be able to come back on the channel, but you all would be the first to know. Okay, let's take a second. We have new people in here. Let's make everyone feel welcome. Old friends, new friends, however you want to do it. Let's say TGIF to our neighbor. Some of you are old strangers. Where you been? I get worried when I don't see my friends. Tell you what, a lot's been going on the last couple of weeks. Stacy has become somewhat of a YouTube celebrity. Woo! All over the place. And we're going to talk about that today. One question that keeps coming up in the comments, because you guys are smarter than the average bear on YouTube, is how did these three men get so manipulated by this? Suds, I'm going to let you weigh in on this. You know, we have heard the song, Lady on the Streets, but a freak in the bed. What the hell kind of hold does Sarah have over these three? What was she holding over their heads? Was it a place to flop? Her sexual sins she spoke about? Food? I mean, what is it? How did she manipulate not just Brandon, Adrian, and Stacy, but pretty much anybody else that flopped there? They aren't the only three. They're the only three that are suspects in the abduction of Michael Vaughn along with Sarah. Somebody has got to teach me, Sarah. My husband scoffs at me when I ask him to take the trash out. Could you imagine if somebody told Sarah no? Have a feeling that didn't happen very often. Well, you guys had a lot to say, so before we get to it, let's go through the comments from the last show. Red Charm, by the way, love that name, said, I wish I could be like Brandy. Brandy is one of the strongest women I know. Brandy has been through hell and manages to stay so beautiful inside and out. I have mad respect for Brandy. Prayers for Monkey and family. Now, I think we all have the same sentiment, but it can't be said enough because, as you know, in the last couple of weeks, everything has been about Stacy. Well, we need more Michael. Kalissa's girl, I never pronounce this right. She commented, he said, I wasn't even a part of it. A part of what? What is it? What were you not a part of? Very good question. That blonde chick, cool name. I do wonder why he never just says it was not possible for any of us to take Michael because we were gone during the time he went missing. He just says he doesn't know if Sarah or Brandon took him. Shelley says if he hates Brandon so much, why did he tow the car for him that night? See what I'm talking about? You guys have the best comments. Okay, hang on. Sud said, I'm single because I have self-respect. If I'm not attracted to the lady, it doesn't go down. I own my own house. I cook, I clean, I take care of myself and my 3 bulldogs. It's called self-respect. So you wouldn't get caught up in the Bermuda Triangle that happens to be Sarah Wandera. Any insight on how exactly Sarah can manipulate the way she does? Because we can all see it from miles and miles and miles away. She runs the show. She tells them when to sit. She tells them when to shit. She's almost like a Charles Manson. She's just going to give commands. Stacy said this week that he's the one that gave the tip over. Now he says it's a false tip. Well, let me tell you something about that false tip. They did find evidence in their house and in the yard. The yard that Stacy told us his in-laws always kept up for them. And as far as the false tip, in quotes, let me tell you what, Michael Vaughn's family could hear the machines from their house. Think about that. Imagine the pins and needles that they were on day after day. I mean, they still are, don't get me wrong, but it had to have obviously been escalated during that time. And now he acts like it was just a false, I just made it up. No harm, no foul, right? Just a little white lie. I don't think so. Let's bring up our friend Christina. We have some things to chat about. It is showtime.
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
And she's here. Good morning, Madam Secretary.
Hello, how are you today?
Fired up.
I can tell. Suds looks like a good catch, girls. I mean, I'm taken. But, 3 bulldogs? Come on now.
He cooks, he cleans, 3 bulldogs. Come on.
Yeah. Somebody needs him.
I offered him up to Kayla Montgomery yesterday. And he didn't bite. I mean, these are women that can't get away, Suds. All you have to do is start putting money on their books for beefaroni and writing them letters to their respective jails.
Oh, girl, he could do much better than that. Shep's in chat, too. Maybe you should ask him why he's not sending Sarah love letters.
I think we need to get Shep on it as well. All right. So did you see Stacy on the news on Sunday?
I did, yes. When they were outside, like the TV interview?
Yep. Let's go through that real quick, and then I want to recap some things that he said to Dolly last night. He did back up what he told us last week about seeing a child outside playing with a toy. But there's some other information that's coming out, which is why it is important, not just in this case, but all cases, that when the suspects talk, you see little bitty truths come out. Whether they are true fabrications or they're spilling it, law enforcement knows how to put it together. So let's start with his media debut.
Months later, though, she remains a suspect. Now, along with the Wandras, police labeled 2 men who lived with them, Adrian Lucien and Brandon Shirtliff, suspects who absolutely know what happened to Michael. 5 years old at the time, Michael disappeared from his Fruitland home on Southwest 9th Street on July 27, 2021. In November of 2022, we were there as crews searched and excavated the property where those 4 suspects lived, just 2-minute drive from the Vaughn's home.
2-minute drive from the Vaughn's home. I spoke to Brandy one day, very briefly, when the excavation was going on. On the phone, I could hear it. I want you to marinate on that for a second. Just on the phone with Brandy, I could hear it. That means Tyler could hear what was going on, his father, Michael's siblings. I know many people reached out and they said, listen, I'll get you a hotel. You guys get out of town. They said, no way. No way. No way. Snazzy's making it rain. Thank you. Thank you for that icebreaker, because I was getting ready to break down. Let me take a deep breath and let's thank Snazzy for making it rain. Could you just imagine, Christina?
Oh, no. Not at all. He's so beautiful. And just the thought of, well, you know, I've got so much years in education. Just the thought of anybody hurting a child breaks my heart. And with my own too, you know, I get sad when they go back to college. I can't imagine.
No. Mm-mm. And as we know from the press conference that blew us away when we heard it last year, they said, you know, 4 suspects, and they have every reason to believe that Michael was at one time in that backyard. Okay, so Stacy said this week, not on this show, he's the one that gave them the tip about the backyard. Imagine his surprise when he found out Michael was not there. Let's put this together. They have evidence that he was. Who was left at the house when Stacy was in the pokey? He told me still at the house was Brandon, Sarah, and Randy Strickland. But he said Randy would never do anything like that. Well, we damn sure know Brandon would, because him and Adrian, all the fingers are being pointed at them from Stacy. But Adrian is getting real pissy because he believes they're trying to set him up. Stacy admits that it was only him, Sarah, and Brandon when they filled up the power steering fluid and headed off to Kuna when they saw the little boy outside playing with a toy. Adrian was not with them. Adrian is getting furious because he thinks that they're trying to set him up. If you remember, and I'll read you the article again, Sarah first blamed Stacy. She said the highest God told her Stacy did it. Then she said it was Adrian. She never, ever, ever blames Brandon. And as we remember, when Brandon spoke to JLR, he doesn't really have any unkind words for Sarah, only Adrian and Stacy. Can we see where this is going? Who's running the show, Christina? Your opinion only. Obviously, we're not working the case.
Well, it seems like in the house, Sarah was running the show. And I wonder, I mean, these guys don't really seem like the submissive type, but she's definitely the domineering type. So, yeah.
She was controlling them with sex, ew, food, jobs, a place to stay. As you remember, the very first show we did with Stacy, who was calling him during the show? He had a call from California, which we figured that out later. It wasn't any of the suspects. And he was getting calls from Sarah from jail. She is still trying to control what's going on from behind bars. So before we get to the clip, let's take a second and tell our friend Sharon, happy birthday to you. And many more. I hope you have the best birthday ever, Sharon. And thank you for spending it with all of us, with your friends. Britt said, some women really get away with a lot. I will never understand it because my stretch marked ass doesn't get away with shit. And I've tried for 48 years. How about you?
I think about that in the house. It was Sarah's parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah probably, I mean, I don't think, they probably don't have a checkbook, right? I mean, I'm old. I have a checkbook, but she controlled the money. She controlled the taxi business. She sent people out on taxi runs, so that would be their income. She let people stay for free, quote unquote. So yeah, I think she was running the show.
Oh, for sure. She was the dispatcher for the taxi runs. Then she started her own laundry business, which is very concerning that Brandon, the night that they were going to tow the car, had to bring a duffel bag with him and do laundry. Imagine his mother, imagine her confusion when she got home and realized that someone had been at the house because she wasn't home and that wet clothes were left in the washer. You have Sarah who has a laundry business. Why did you have to do laundry the night you went to get the junky ass Mercedes and tow it back to Fruitland? Let's think about that. No decisions to be made yet. Let's just marinate on that.
Police said they had credible information from someone living in the Wanderer's house that Michael's body was there. Human remains, dogs alerted, but ultimately Michael wasn't found. Police believe Michael was buried in the yard and then moved. Fruitland police sent probable cause to the Payette County prosecutor last summer to be presented to a grand jury. Police Chief J.D. Huff says a grand jury hasn't convened yet, but they will soon. Although that case centers around the Wanderers and their roommates, Stacy tells us he knows nothing about Michael's abduction.
Stacy Wandra, S-T-A-C-E-Y.
It's been 2 months since Stacy Wandra was released from federal custody, convicted of a gun crime, unrelated to the disappearance of little Michael Vaughn.
And what have you been doing since?
I've been trying to live my life the best way I can.
Stacy agreed to interview with me to, quote, clear his name.
I have no reason to hide anything from anybody. I'm not that type of person. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything, and I will tell you an honest answer to it.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn?
No.
Okay, you see how far away Morgan Romero is sitting from Stacy? Do you see that, Christina?
I do, yes.
Are you, your opinion only, are you getting any sort of sexual attraction from Morgan Romero to Stacy?
No.
Okay, because he was thinking that she wanted to jump his bones.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I said, yeah, I can see it too. Phew, I could feel the heat coming through the TV.
I can see it opposite, though.
Ooh.
She's a lovely young lady. So
Mhm. Oh no, he's not interested.
Why do police think you were?
I have no idea.
Stacy thinks law enforcement's case may hinge on Adrian Lucien, one of the men living with Stacy and his wife at the time Michael disappeared. One of the men police are calling a suspect. Any clues or evidence that could point to that, from your knowledge?
No.
Okay.
I would never have thought Sarah or Brendan or Adrian would. Maybe Adrian, but
Maybe Adrian. Okay, Adrian is active on TikTok and Instagram, and he had a big argument with Stacy. Stacy told us about it. We went through the text messages, and he said because it was respectful that Adrian was bringing women back to the house. But it's not disrespectful for Sarah to share her mouth and ass all over the flop house. That's okay. Adrian's belief is because he has had run-ins with the law. This human trafficking record, I can't find. It does not exist. I'm hoping BX Beast Boy can talk to Adrian. Hey, BX. Okay. Adrian has the belief in some of the messages I've seen that he's the easy setup because of his short time there. He was sort of the odd man out. I'm paraphrasing. And because he's African American. Any thoughts on that, Christina?
Well, I'm just looking at Stacy's body language, and I'm no way, shape, or form an expert. But when he turns his head, he is thinking, and he's going to try to figure out how to justify his thought that Adrian could be involved or Adrian did it. For some reason, he doesn't want to pin it on Brandon or anybody else. So why Adrian?
My opinion on that is because he was with Brandon and Sarah.
Yes.
So it's got to be the person that he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Same with Sarah. The Most High God told her Stacy did it. Then she backtracked and said, no, it was Adrian. But they don't blame Brandon, but they hate Brandon. Well, Sarah doesn't, but he says he does.
Yeah.
This is going to get worse before it gets better, my friends.
But I wouldn't have thought Sarah or Brandon would have ever done something like this. I was not even home at the night of the disappearance. I know that at that nighttime, Sarah, Brandon, and I had left to Cuna to go recover his tow's vehicle.
Elaborate on that day a little bit more. You said you were working?
Yeah, so I did a taxi ride from Ontario to Boise. I know that I was gone a good portion of the day from like 1 p.m. in the afternoon to like about 4. Spent some time with a former coworker or boss that I used to work for. I think I spent maybe an hour and a half, and then had come back home. And the neighborhood was completely solitude. It was quiet.
Stacy claims he, Brandon, and Sarah left their house and headed to Cuna to tow Brandon's car around 5:30 to 6 p.m. on July 27th, 2021. Brandon blew a spark plug and couldn't drive it, he says. Fruitland police believe Monkey went missing between 6:40 and 7 p.m. that night.
When we got back, I think about between 9 and 10 o'clock at night, we noticed there was an excessive amount of people out in the community walking around the neighborhood. We had stopped and asked what was going on, and they said that a boy had been abducted or been taken, and it was news to me, and it was news to Sarah, what it seemed like, and Brandon. We got home, Brandon and Sarah decided they were going to go look for the boy, and I was in the process of getting the vehicle detached from the truck because it was taking up the whole length of the street pretty much.
Stacy later clarified to me he wasn't initially told Michael was abducted, just that he was missing. And where was Adrian that day?
Adrian and Brandon and Sarah all took a trip to Boise in the morning before I did my taxi ride. It was...
We still have questions about the trip to Boise to go to the Applebee's and troll around the mall. Was it Boise or Nampa? Because we've also heard through these interviews, it was the Nampa Caldwell area, which would make more sense because, well, that's where they found Adrian originally, behind the dumpster. There is Adrian outside of the Applebee's at 4:47 p.m. Brandon took this picture. Now do the math, whether it's from Boise or from Nampa, for them to get back to the house. This is time-stamped. Grab the truck and head out to go to Kuna to tow the Mercedes back. Just a thought. Mermaid said she's about to jump through the screen. Hold it back, Mermaid. He does not want you. He's not interested.
I'm trying to find a comment that, and I can't say, I think it's Ilyanka. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Yeah, she found the timeline's already changed by at least a couple of hours, and it keeps changing. And I'm going to say hi to Dolly. I thought you did a great interview last night. I didn't catch it all, but very well done. And I know Dolly's heart has always been for Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, Dolly. But I think Ilyanka is right. The timeline keeps changing. And, you know, I know, Brooks, how much timeline is important to you. And that's why you named your channel what you did. And it's important to me, too. And in my mind, I'm just trying to figure out how they could get this all done within like a 4 or 5 hour period. I don't know.
And I cannot wait until this all gets put together for us, because they could not be heading out at 5:15 when the picture of Adrian was taken outside of the Applebee's at 4:47 p.m.
Right.
Whether they were in Boise or in Nampa. So we can throw that one out the window.
Adrian wanted to go see his kid.
He claims Adrian stayed in either Boise or Nampa all night.
Is that what they told you, or do you know that to be true for a fact?
I mean, that's just what I'm going based off of. I mean, I was told the same thing that's, all over, and I wasn't with them.
Human cadaver dogs are highly reliable. Why did police tell you that human cadaver dogs pinged on your property at that home?
They didn't really give an explanation. They just said that the dogs had hit around the property. But, I mean, there was nothing. I don't even know how that's even feasible, because like I said, I've never even heard of this kid. I've never seen this kid. Never knew anything about him.
Police said that they believe Michael's body was buried there and then moved. Can you think of any time that his body would have been buried there and then moved? Does anything stand out to you?
Not at all. They were saying that he was buried by the shed. Makes absolutely no sense. There's been no dig marks. There's no trench marks. There's nothing. The ground was a complete grassed area.
Could it have happened when you weren't around and it was potentially covered up?
Okay, this seems to be something that he keeps bringing up. Pristine area. His in-laws took care of the lawn because he didn't have the health to do it. Brandon might have mowed one time, but Oakley did, that's the dog at the time, have a lot of dig holes in the backyard. Now, we all know that grass grows. Okay, grass grows. So between the summer of 2021 and the dig in November of 2022, is it safe to say that the grass would have grown back?
Yeah, especially since his in-laws were so meticulous with the landscaping, which he himself said.
Very meticulous.
Yeah.
Margaret said no one asked him about the supposed music video they seemingly filmed. We did. We spoke about that last week. I think it was the first interview we did with Stacy. I don't know. There's 3 of them, but it's in one of those. Glad you brought that up. So I think we got that clear, right? I'm no landscaper, but grass grows.
Yep.
Okay. So we can put that one to rest.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it doesn't make sense to him, it makes sense to the Almighty because grass grows.
It could have, very possibly. I just know that I wasn't around for any of it. I have no idea. I would like to know what happened to him.
They did say that they recovered several pieces of evidence at your home and on your property. Do you know what those pieces of evidence were?
Well, it's news to me.
The day after our interview,
He was playing with something.
Stacy gave a YouTuber a new piece of information.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to recollect as best as I can for you.
He, Brandon, and Sarah pulled over to put power steering fluid in his car right after they left for Cuna the day Michael was abducted. He says they saw a child playing by himself on the sidewalk down the street, around the corner from the Vaughn's home.
The kid I saw did not depict Michael. I mean, he wasn't like a little kid, you know what I mean? Like he was, that's why I said it didn't concern me at all that he was out and about doing his thing.
Stacy says he doesn't know what's in the probable cause affidavit police sent to prosecutors. The one police say centers around him, Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon.
Do you think police have anything on you or your wife?
I personally know for a fact they don't have anything against me or on me. I have no knowledge. Again, I wasn't even home. I have no knowledge of who this little boy is, his whereabouts, or anything about him.
In his interview with the YouTuber, Stacy said his attorney told him he's no longer a person of interest in Michael's abduction. Chief Huff tells me that's not true. When I called Stacy's attorney to get a straight answer, his attorney told me, quote, "I have no comment at this time," and hung up. I also reached out to Michael's mom, Brandy Neal, to let her know about this interview airing. She was appreciative and said the most important thing in the world is to get Michael home.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Are you going to talk about the interview at all last night?
Oh, that's next. That's next. I'm going to pick your brain for a minute. I've been excited about this. This is the tweet that Morgan Romero, the woman that had the hots for Stacy, but she couldn't have gotten further down that bench. Okay, Fruitland PD, yes, but not prosecutor ever. Huff says Stacy is absolutely still a suspect. Still. Now, as we know, fingers are pointing at Adrian. This is a text between Adrian and Stacy. Adrian says, "Did y'all really kill that baby boy, or did y'all relocate him somewhere else? Y'all so fucked for harming kids. WTF." Then he's replied to, "Well, then how did the boy die? Answer that. I don't know why you even think I had anything to do with taking him." Adrian replies, "Let's not forget about Brandon." There at the bottom. Okay. And Adrian is the one that's very upset, thinking that they're trying to set him up. Now we come to a letter, and it's very illegible, that JLR put up quite a while ago. This is from 2019 when Stacy was in jail. He goes through how uncomfortable his living conditions are and things like that. But he mentions, he says, "I have a full IQ score of 62, which is mentally, developmentally disabled." Now, this would be more your forte, not that your IQ is 62, Madam Secretary. But you understand different learning disabilities. Your opinion only, because you have never assessed him. Do you believe that Stacy has an IQ of 62?
No. So there are a lot of members on here today. So if you cut the members live from last Friday, I have a lot of experience in special education and behavior and cognitive disorders. That's kind of my career path for 25 years, 24 years. And one of the jobs that I had in that position, or one of the things I had to do, was give IQ tests, because that's how we often determined if a child had a learning disability, a developmental disability. They were always included in the, if we did an individual education plan for a child or an IEP. So there's several levels. So we all have average, I shouldn't say we all have average. Average intelligence is about 90, 85 probably to 110, 115. That would be considered average intelligence. And then as we go back, genius is 160, just if anybody's curious. But if we go back,
like mine?
Yeah, right on. If we go back, they class disability as mild, moderate, or severe based on the IQ. So I would say he probably does have a mild impairment, but that would be like in the 80s range, which would mean that he's perfectly capable of holding a job, of driving, of remembering things, of, taking care of himself. There are people in that range are absolutely able to do that. What he's saying is he believes he has a moderate disability, which would typically mean that he would be struggling more to take care of himself. And I know he's in jail, and I know he's had a difficult life with his group home situation, but he definitely is not, it doesn't, in my opinion, just from what I've seen, have a moderate disability. And then, of course, there's the severe. And someone with a severe disability is usually born with it. It's a congenital issue where their brain didn't develop properly. So,
well, let's talk about, because like I said, you're the expert on this, not me. I just kind of know the feeling that I get about people, and well, that bucket's got a lot of holes. Anyhow, the way he articulates himself and the way he gives history, would that add up to somebody with an IQ of 62? Now, remember, he has worked a ton of different odd jobs. He can manage money. He can drive. He said last night to Dolly, he knows how to use a trailer, knows how to maneuver a trailer. He knows about the tow straps and stuff like that. So is it the fetal alcohol syndrome that Brandon was talking about?
He's overcome that by now. Usually with that, we see difficulties earlier on in life, and given proper education, typically if the child isn't able to overcome everything, they're taught how to adapt. So math is usually one area that's affected by fetal alcohol. So they're really taught how to use a calculator, for example, or they're taught how to manage money, count money, that sort of thing. Possibly concentration would be affected. And we've seen that with Stacy, that he does seem to wander off. His thoughts excuse me, tend to wander, but that could just be attention deficit. That could just be lack of interest. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but like I said, usually we're able to teach them adapting skills to adapt for their difficulties.
Okay. I want to say thank you to Mama Bear. She's been a member for 5 months. She said he knows exactly what he's doing, in my opinion. Kim has an interesting thought. Beautiful picture, Kim G.
Mm-hmm.
They all have mother issues, and that's how Sarah manipulated them.
And that's an interesting point. And that's something I thought of as well, because Stacy said that he was in the foster care system, or in the, I'll just go with the system, for a long time. So he didn't likely have a really good mom or dad in his life. I can't say for certain. Again, I don't know. I'm just going off of what he has said. So yeah, definitely. Brandon apparently lived at home with his mom until he moved in with Sarah. I don't know.
He's flopped around, but he's always had stuff at his mom's house. We're going to talk a little bit about his mom in a little bit. But what do you think about this comment that Diane put in?
Yep.
She said, I'm a special educator of 40 plus years. Stacy is much too articulate to claim an IQ of 62. His vocabulary is fairly well developed. He has a driver's license, which would be hard to acquire.
Yes, I completely agree with her. Thank you, Diane, for working with kids for so long. It's a difficult job for sure. But yes, she's perfectly correct.
And if he has an IQ of 62, could he legally be required to take a polygraph test?
That I don't know.
Okay.
That's a legal question. I don't know. I have been asked if I did have a student with an IQ in that level, and I was asked in court if I thought they knew right from wrong, and I could say yes, because even at that level, they do know the difference between right and wrong, but I can't say whether, I don't know. That's a legal question.
Okay, and now we're going to look at Sarah, who, in my opinion, I'm not a detective, I'm not involved in this case. She has been running the show. Now, we know that when she went to jail for failure to report Michael's death, I know a lot of people get real wound up about this, and they're like, but they dropped the charges. They dropped the charges. Do you think that maybe other evidence has presented itself to where they don't care so much about that charge anymore, and they have something bigger for her? It's without prejudice. They could pick it up today. They had an arrest affidavit. They had warrants from a judge. They broke in the house, slammed down the door, and pulled her ass out of there. That's the night that she told him. The highest God said that Stacy did it. Then it was Adrian. Left Brandon totally out of it. Now, when she was in jail, there was a lot of questions, and she was assessed by, I believe, a state hospital for her mental competency. For some reason, Stacy is still on that. Not on Sarah, she's in jail, but still on that she is mentally incapable. You tell me what you think, because in this is totally different than her TikTok videos where she's like, oh, the worst thing, the craziest thing happened. I got stuck in the mud. Or, oh, I don't deserve Jesus's love. This is her facing the judge.
Did on or about the 12th day of November of this year, here in the state of Idaho, fail to notify the coroner of a death, the death of Michael Vaughn, with the intent to prevent the discovery of the manner of death.
Look at that scowl on her. Look at that.
We continue to follow developing news out of Payette County. Police made an arrest in connection to the disappearance of Michael Vaughn. The little boy went missing from his Fruitland home in July of 2021 when he was 5 years old. Police arrested 35-year-old Sarah Wandra for failure to report a death. Crews have been excavating the backyard of a home in a Fruitland neighborhood since Saturday. We now know that home is where Wandra has been living. We have team coverage from Payette County. News Channel 7's Abby Davis is outside the home in Fruitland, where crews continue to dig in the backyard. But first, let's go to Alexandra Duggan outside the Payette County Courthouse in Payette, where Sarah Wandra was arraigned this afternoon.
And if we remember, they said a credible tip from inside the house is what led them there. Now, this credible tip wasn't a, I think, or this person's been harassed into saying something. They had other evidence in order to get a warrant from the judge to start digging. You can't just take Stacy's word and tear up the backyard. It doesn't work that way.
Alex?
Doug, today in court at 1:30, the state of Idaho alleges that Sarah Wondra on November 12th failed to notify police of a death. And they said that she covered up the way in which Michael Vaughn died. Now, we don't know if he has actually died. There's no confirmation from police just yet. Just know that investigators are still currently looking for his remains. That's what we've gathered from Fruitland Police. And the judge also sealed the probable cause affidavit today in court, talking about why they arrested Wondra. Because they don't want to jeopardize a high case like this. And Huff said that he doesn't want to comment on that just yet. He wants to bring closure to the family in the right way, is what he told us just 20 minutes ago. He said the state said there are serious implications of Wondra being out and about and knowing about Michael's whereabouts for this entire year and a half that he has been missing. And in court, Wondra says she understands the charges that are being brought against her, but, that quote, it is not correct. And Huff told us 20 minutes ago.
She understands the charges, but they are not correct. Okay. Now let's talk about this. They're not correct. She also got a little, I would say, snarky with the judge when they were trying to figure out, is she going to have private counsel? Is she going to get a public defender? And he asked her if she's working, and being the smartass that she is, she goes, well, not right now. I'm sitting here in jail, dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Britt says, hear me out. What if Sarah isn't turning on Brandon because he has stuff on her, whereas she doesn't care about the other two because she knows they know nothing incriminating? I'm not convinced it's just for love. Woo! Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Come on now, Britt. You don't think Brandon loves her? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Pure evil is what we're dealing with Sarah.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Bowie Bear. Sorry, Bowie Bear. Look at this. Manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. Stacy said he gave permission to Brandon to knock the boots with Sarah because she really wanted a child. 2 days turned into a week. A week turned into 2 weeks. As he said on the show last week, he got really tired of listening to them. I guess they sounded like two wild pigs mating. So on March 26, 2022, having a hubby and wifey moment. Love you, Bowie Bear. You're so handsome. I can't wait till our anniversary if God allows us to make it. God bless you, babe. All right, yeah, God bless you. God bless you, Phantom. Thank you for the super sticker. I asked Stacy, how the hell did you meet her? And of course, they met on the internet, some sort of single site. They were married like a week later.
Well, I thought so. I thought it had to be quick because just the way they were in front of the judge, that was kind of freaky. Like he was totally into it and she's like, I'm not really sure this is what I want. But when she was dressed like the ogre, Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I think last night we heard that it was like 6 years they were together. So
they've been together a while.
Yeah, Dolly asked how long they had been together.
And they are still married. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have argued with me. They're like, they're divorced. They're divorced. No, they're not.
Not yet.
Nope, they are not divorced. Let's listen to a little bit of what Stacy said to Dolly last night. Remember, it's about the content, not the creator. Everyone has their own favorite flavor of ice cream. I like mint chocolate chips. Some people think it's disgusting. What is your favorite ice cream, Christina?
Actually, it is mint chocolate chip. Absolutely. I like that Heath Bar Crunch, though, sometimes. But yeah, I would say mint chocolate chip would be my favorite.
Okay. So I think we understand that, because in this case, and everybody knows how this case gets me wound up like no other, worse than Sarah's herpes outbreaks. So
you guys have to remember, okay, that Dolly has always been on the Neil side and for Michael the whole time. So even if you don't care for what he does, sometimes just remember he's always for the kids.
well, and in this case, the child is Michael Monkey Vaughn, and Stacy said some things last night that were very imperative. Let's go through it. We're going to go through it slowly. Wherever you want me to pause, tell me.
Taxi run or after?
Yeah, after the taxi run.
Vehicle. Like 4:30.
So you got back about 4:30. All right.
Correct.
So when you got back home, was anybody there?
No, it was just me.
Okay, just you.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Sarah and Brandon were home.
Okay, timeline issue. He got home at 4:30. Sarah and Brandon were there. They had already dropped off Adrian. This photo is verified. July 27th, 2021, 4:47 p.m. Can't be in two places at once. After they dumped off Adrian and they headed back to Fruitland, that would have put them home around 6 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon took the picture.
Okay, so they were already back from dropping Adrian off in either Boise or where was it you said?
All the way in Nampa. I don't know exactly where they were. Their stories never match up. So
okay. It's funny you say the stories don't match up, because I noticed one thing in the News 7 interview that you did. You really said that, you couldn't believe that Sarah or Brandon would do something like this. But Adrian, you kind of had your doubts about, and she glossed over that. My curiosity is this: what made you think that they wouldn't do this, but Adrian might? That was my curiosity, because I wanted to hear you speak a little more on that. What made you think that, they wouldn't do it, but Adrian might? Is there something about this guy that stands out to you that may be a little different?
Yeah,
or
he's got an infamous history of human trafficking.
Infamous is a strong word. Now, some of you are obviously way better at research than me. I, for the life of me, cannot find this extensive, infamous human trafficking record on Adrian. I have seen some petty drugs, nothing like the Fent or anything, some prostitution going on, but the human trafficking, I'm not finding. Has anybody found anything on Adrian Lucien that shows this human trafficking connection? Because trust me, I could be wrong and missing it.
I haven't looked, but I have not heard of that. And somebody asked in chat why the photo was blocked out. Adrian was there meeting with was it his son or one of his child?
With a child, that is.
That's why it was blocked off, not because of anything else.
Okay, True Crime Beat said I couldn't find anything. Our girl Jones's in here. She said I couldn't find any trafficking either, Brooks. Misty Dew looked. She said nope. So basically what I saw, you guys all saw. Not saying that Adrian...
The thing is, he has lived in a bunch of different states, so I don't... We know for sure Ohio and California.
Oregon. Idaho. I looked in Oregon and New York.
Okay. You go, girl.
Woo! I was going cross-eyed, man. I was going cross-eyed.
You don't need me for a secretary. You're way ahead of me, man.
Oh, I need so many sets of eyes. I'm telling you. Twin Thing. What a cool name. Gorgeous.
That is a cool name.
She said, I couldn't find anything on trafficking. Okay, so I'm not losing my mind. I don't have far to go, so that doesn't mean much. All right, so extensive, infamous trafficking. We can mark that off. We've already figured out the timeline. Sarah and Brandon could not be at the house at 4:30 when they took a picture outside of Applebee's at 4:47.
Of how are you aware? How are you aware of his?
The detectives informed me.
Okay, while you was in jail. Now you wasn't in jail for nothing to do with Michael Monkey Vaughn. You was in jail for charges.
Possession of a firearm.
Yeah, unrelated charges. So you was already in jail. Okay, I understand that. So you get back home. Brandon and Sarah are there at the house. What is going on when you get there? Are they just hanging out? Are they watching TV?
Yeah, just hang out. I don't even remember if we had a TV during that day.
The TV may not be significant, but it's stumping me. Brandon told JLR they got up that morning. Him and Adrian were going to make a music video. Stacy spoke about that. He said where he gave the location where they were making the video. Where the video is, I don't know. Brandon said they were watching TV. Our first interview, Stacy said they were watching TV and talked about what shows he was really into at the time. The next day, there was no TV. And Sarah would think that the devil was in the TV and she'd get rid of the TV. So they had like a rent-a-center plan. I think when she was just didn't want to pay the bill, rent-a-center would come pick it up and then she'd go square up with them and get the TV back, is what it sounds like to me. I don't think it was the devil in the TV. Does that make sense to anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just try to sum all this up.
That time frame, but because Sarah had really bad fucking, I don't know, psychological issues. She would one point she'd be like, "Oh, TV's for the devil. It's it's all blah 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 blah." And then one minute she'd be, "Oh, we can get a TV now." So we really never had a TV more than maybe 2 or 3 months at a time.
Before I get too far into it, what would you say the mental state of Sarah is? Do you think is she
mentally unstable?
Mentally unstable, but would you say does she understand right from wrong?
I think she's capable of it. Whether she falls through it is a different story.
Okay. So you get back, they're just hanging out, regular day. Nothing so far seems out of the ordinary to you. Just regular day, waking up, making money, trying to live. I got that. So what happens at that point in the day? Okay. Where do y'all go next?
Brandon asked us to go to pick up his car in CUNA.
Okay.
And he had been asking us prior quite a lot. So we just put it off, and we're just tired of asking us. So
was there anything wrong?
Okay. Oh, poor Dolly, where I paused it, he's making his O face. Okay, Brittany, I agree. The devil was in the TV bill. Yeah, the devil was Rent-A-Center. So I think we squared that away. Question, and this came from our last show. Why would you do yet another favor for Brandon? You're already mad that he's been plugging the Grand Canyon for the last month and you couldn't even sleep because you had to listen to them doing the horizontal boogaloo. So why not just have Tina tow it down? Why would you do this favor for him when you're already so upset that he is sleeping with Sarah? He already knew that Sarah cheated on him behind his back because that's how she got the herpes.
So I guess maybe the only thing I could come up with is the taxi business was really taking off and they needed him to have his own car. But I don't think that's legit. That was the only reason I could come up with. I'm sure somebody else could come up with other reasons, but
it's just, I just think everything that day was an excuse for an abduction.
And with his car?
Yeah, he blew the spark plugs out of it.
Okay, so that's why y'all were going down to pick his car up. Now, from my understanding, do you tow a trailer also?
I mean, I can tow trailers. I know how. We didn't tow a trailer that night.
was y'all going to tow his vehicle back, or was he?
It was a tow strap, correct?
Okay, so y'all were hooking it up to your vehicle to
Yeah.
tow his vehicle back.
Correct.
So he asked you.
When I speak with him on the phone, there's no yawning and there's no coughing. Just like when Hunter was speaking to his father, when we heard the conversations between old Cliff and Theo Huxtable on Andrew's channel, there was no yawning going on. What is going on with the yawning? Do you have any insight on that, Madam Secretary?
Nervousness, and then if they're trying to come up with something to fill in the space, like they can't answer right away or they don't want to answer, they're hoping that they'll come up with something. And yeah, so it's just it's as if he's saying or but he's yawning. But I think it's nervousness.
Cece is a former detective. She said it's a sign of deception. I've also heard, and I'm not the expert, I'm not saying this is the gospel truth. I've also heard it buys them time to think of the answer.
Yep.
Okay, yawn.
Yeah, he's like, Stacy, I need you to take me to get my car. Will you help me out?
Mm-hmm.
And just you're like, yeah, I'll help. I hate to backtrack a little bit. How did you meet Brandon?
They're moving job to Labor Days.
So y'all have done. Is it true to say y'all have done different odd jobs? I guess on the internet.
I used to be huge fanatic. Huge fan of doing odd jobs. It was an easy way to make some money.
Okay, I understand that. So y'all decide that you're going to go ahead and take him and tow his car back to his house. Now, listen, there was at one point, I guess it was believed that you was at the splash pad around 1:30 that day.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason? And I guess this would have been before you went to make that run to your taxi ride.
Yeah, so I stopped at the splash pad because I needed to get my can of chew that had fallen into the passenger side.
Interesting comment I had from a tobacco chewer on the comment. As you see, Stacy, he always has a cup with him. We've seen him spit a lot and eat gummy worms over the last week and a half. Now, my ex-husband used to chew Skull, and it was always in his back pocket, assuming there's room between Stacy's pocket and his ass. But you don't just throw it in the seat. You have your cup ready. You have your chew in before you go to drive, kind of like people that smoke when they're driving. So he gets to the splash pad, which is a stone's throw from where they live, and he has to stop there to get the Skull can. And what kind of a crazy turn did he make that the Skull can went flying across the car and was on the other side?
Right. My question is, and I don't know if this has ever been explained. I think Stacy's tried to explain it, but do you have to go by the splash pad as he's leaving the neighborhood? Because I thought there was a road that, like, from his house, he could just pull onto that road to go, it looked like east or west. Did he ever have to go by the splash pad or no?
Well, from what I'm understanding, there's like one way in, one way out of the neighborhood, and you're going to see the splash pad. But they did everything backwards all day. So right. I don't know if he took a detour or the direction he was going, I would think that the driver's side would be pointing towards the splash pad as far as the other way around. But yeah. I have to look at that again.
Yes, that's kind of what I was imagining. But when I look at the map, it just seems like he didn't need to go by the splash pad. And I know, Brandy, sweetheart, you're in chat. If you could just let me know if I'm right or wrong about that. If he had to go by the splash pad to get out of the neighborhood.
Jules said, Brooks, Sarah was driving, I thought. No, Sarah was with Brandon and Adrian, either en route to Boise or en route to Nampa. This is when he was departing Fruitland to go on his taxi run.
So like 1 o'clock, right?
He said 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Floorboard, like the farthest away, so I couldn't exactly just stop and.
Yeah, I understand. For people that are watching that don't understand, the splash pad is a little park at the beginning. I would say it's on. Is that 8th Street, Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little splash pad at the beginning of 8th Street, and there's a little parking lot because even when I was there, it was an easy place for me to pull over. So I pulled over in that same parking lot that you would have pulled over in. And you say that you had your chew, you had to get it out the car. So that would have put you on. That's why your vehicle was seen at the park that day, is because you were getting your chew out of the vehicle.
Correct.
Okay. Now that day was around that time of the day. Was Brandon with you at all? It was just you at the splash pad, correct?
Oh, it was just me.
Oh, okay.
Just so you guys can see.
So at what time? Okay, yeah, long cut.
Longhorn.
Okay.
I'm a huge Copenhagen nerd, but this was the cheapest I could get, so I was okay with that.
Okay, so so you go off, you do cab ride, you come back home. Brandon and your girl is there now. Now I don't really like to dive into your personal relationship, but I mean, you've openly said things on the news and on other channels that she was sleeping with Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And that you was aware of that because you wasn't sleeping with her, and it was consensual that you gave them permission to sleep. Okay.
Yeah, for a couple days. Yeah.
And then I guess from what I'm hearing, it went a little longer than a couple days, kind of thing.
Yeah. A week or a couple days turned into a week. A week turned into like 2 weeks.
Well, give the girl an inch or so and she'll take a mile, correct? Brandy said he would have to go by the splash pad. NC Mountain Girl said also, how does he now have a dog if he's homeless? Well, because he found a new place to flop. He's not at the shelter anymore. He has had a change of living situation. That dog is his roommate's.
The only thing I would say at this point is he's losing interest, in my opinion, and he's getting distracted by something. So either he's worried about what's coming up, so he's trying to prepare himself, or he's just truly getting distracted. Concentration seems to be waning at this point.
Well, according to him, somebody was on his knob while this was going on.
Oh.
There's someone in the room because he has, after, a good old sucky slobber, he needed more skull, and he even tells her to get the bottle.
All righty.
Love is in the air. Love.
I don't want to imagine that.
Don't be jealous. I already know mermaids coming unglued.
Now, was y'all inviting? I hate to get too personal. Was y'all inviting people into the relationship like that a lot, or was this kind of
no?
Is this kind of a new thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason? Is she? I hear she wanted a baby. Is that true?
I didn't. Not with her.
But how much had she talked to you about wanting a baby?
I mean, it's always been, a thought process. It's just not like we sat there and talked about it for hours.
Yeah. Okay.
But she would bring it up to me. But when she told me after she cheated on me that she caught herpes, that was just the end of the whole sex.
Now, this was cheating on somebody that you hadn't approved of.
Oh yeah.
And Sarah always goes for the skinny guys. So basically, everybody that mounts Sarah, it looks like a toothpick on a hamburger bun. I don't know how this works out. I don't even want to picture it. Do you want to help me here, Christina?
No, you're making me sick, girl. I don't even think about it.
Okay. So that had to really hurt Stacy's masculinity. She would rather, sorry, I had to sneeze, be with any dude that comes in to flop and get free food and run the taxi business than with him. But he said it was the herps. And so all the sex stopped. So he tells her, listen, hey, Valtrex, give the herpes to Adrian and Brandon. I don't want your herps. I have morals, but I'm still going to live here.
It's ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's praying to the highest God, but she's sleeping with anybody with a, what did you call it the other day? A golden dick? Free pogo stick, golden dick. I don't know.
Well, what did she say in that TikTok video? She was apologizing to Jesus for her sexual sins. Well, that doesn't mean Jesus is going to take the herps away.
Right.
And you're telling TikTok. You're not even telling Jesus. Jesus isn't on TikTok.
Brooks, Jesus is everywhere.
You think Jesus is on TikTok?
I mean, supposedly he's everywhere.
Okay, well, maybe.
But I mean, I don't think he's watching TikTok, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm going to look for his account because I got things to talk about too. All right, the day after Michael disappeared, speaking of TikTok, Sarah took this picture of Bowie Bear, this video, and put it up.
This thing is infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Babe, what did you say?
I feel exfoliated.
Exfoliating is exfoliating your skin.
Oh, well, I feel infoliated then.
There's no such thing as infoliated.
There is now, because I just made that shit up.
Why was it imperative to take a video of Stacy cleaning up the day after Michael Vaughn was abducted? Who's running the show?
The person behind the camera.
The old herp queen.
So she was cheating outside of the relationship, not just essential stuff that you was allowing, but other people that you wasn't allowing.
Exactly.
Okay. So around that day, you decide that you're going to go ahead, you're going to take Brandon to get his vehicle, and you decide to leave. Okay. I'm assuming you have to once again go down 8th Street to get out the neighborhood. For anybody that don't know, this neighborhood is basically one way in, one way out.
One way out.
Yeah. When you go in, you have to go past the splash pad to get in it. You have to come past the splash pad to get out it. At the end of at the end of 8th Street is a windy dirt road that leads you down to the Snake River. It's I think it's 3 neighborhoods in a cul-de-sac type area. I'll show it to you guys on a.
This address is so significant, this area, for many, many reasons. We know the obvious one. But on July 28th, 2021, City of Fruitland Police said, we would like to thank the public. Okay, this is the day after Michael Vaughn's abduction. We would like to thank the public for the help with searching for the lost child, but we need everyone to stay out of the area of Southwest 9th and Southwest 8th Street while we deploy a tracking dog. We will notify the public of any updates and assistance needed. This is July 28th. Michael was abducted on the 27th. Did anyone besides me feel their stomach doing somersaults when he described seeing the child? The child, he says. We know who the child is. It's Michael Vaughn. At this exact area. This is beyond significant.
Yeah, let that sink in for a minute.
And I love this comment from Vet Girl. I'm so glad you're here. Hang on. Vet Girl said, canines, as Morgan Romero said when she was trying to hook up supposedly with Stacy in his mind, when she said, these dogs are highly reliable. He didn't really have anything to say about this, but I love this comment. I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to use this. I'll give you credit every time, Vet Girl. Canines do not have opinions. They just do their jobs. See, the canines aren't on YouTube. The canines don't run Facebook groups. They just do their job. Love that comment.
A map in a little bit. So when you was leaving there, around what time do you think you decided, okay, Brandon, and who all left with you? Sarah went with you, Brandon went with you. By this time, Adrian's already gone.
Yeah, so it's just us three.
So y'all load up in what vehicle do you load up in?
Took the red GMC for the Burgundy.
The GMC. So at some point you're leaving. Do you stop anywhere on the way?
Yeah. No, we didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
My puppy's distracting.
Okay. At some point, did you have to put?
I don't think it's the puppy that's distracting you.
Brake fluid or power steering fluid or something into your vehicle. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we did stop at like right outside the subdivision.
So you stopped right outside the subdivision. Are you talking about like on the main drag on like 8th?
Yeah, 8th Street, 8th in Arizona. That stop sign right there.
So you come out your neighborhood and you come to 8th right there at the corner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop and you put power steering fluid in your vehicle.
Yep.
Now, was you the only person to get out the vehicle at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's on this for a second.
Yeah, because he said he stopped in the neighborhood still to put the power steering fluid, and he was at that corner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's outside of the neighborhood, no longer in the neighborhood at that corner. So which is it, Stacy?
Yep.
Okay, go on.
Oh no, I got it. And again, why is this significant where he put the power steering fluid in and where he saw the child, as he said, playing with a toy? City of Fruitland on July 28th. They were already on it. We would like to thank the public for their help with searching for the lost child, but we need everyone to stay out of the area of Southwest 9th and Southwest 8th Street. Stacy mentioned to us that he does know that the dogs lost Michael's scent at this particular area. So he does know that. He does know that. And he's in, this is just, it's a lot. It's a lot. Walk me through this, Christina, because I'm about to have a heart attack.
Take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm. We can do this. We're all friends here.
Okay, so you check the level. You see it needs some power steering fluid. Now, while you was there, did you notice anything?
Noticed a boy playing in the neighborhood, but or somebody's yard, but it doesn't get any more unusual than.
Now let me. I know the area pretty good. So when you come out your neighborhood, there's a field that sits adjacent straight across.
The field is important. Let me put a map up because the last show that Stacy was on with us, he kept talking about the field. So I'm glad, very glad that Dolly brought it up. Hang on. I was just getting ready to put that up and I hit the wrong thing. So I'm going to leave this up. And I'm going to go back a little bit when Dolly talks about the field.
Brooks, where's the splash pad?
On this map, I had it circled. Give me a second because the splash pad was earlier in the day.
That's okay. That's okay. I can look it up.
That doesn't mean it's not significant. So he brings up the field. Okay, think about Brandy Neal and Tyler. I always say Tyler like he's separate. Tyler and Brandy searching that field along with many, many, many other people. Wasn't just them. So listen to this.
Don't
Now-
make it any more visual than
Now let me I know the area pretty good. So when you come out your neighborhood, there's a field that sits adjacent straight across from your neighborhood, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay, now if you was to go down, the first right would be, let's see, the first right, I don't know what the name of that street is, off of 8th.
Okay, repeat. What are you asking? Which
Where I'm just trying to get a location where you would have stopped, a good general basis of where you stopped. Like
so,
when you
so do you know where Arizona is, right? So you pull out the subdivision, Hidden Meadow subdivision, and you take a left, and right there's a little dirt patch right before the
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. So we pulled off right on the right hand side of the road.
Okay. Okay.
Before the stop, before Arizona.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Probably
Now,
500 feet before.
okay. So in this, what time was?
Okay. To put it in perspective, this is before they are not towing the car into the neighborhood. They are leaving. He stops to put power steering fluid in. Why? Since he's such a master mechanic, before departing to go tow the car, did he not put the power steering fluid in before? He stops on a residential neighborhood road. As he said, he's always aware of his surroundings, to put power steering fluid in, and notices a child. The other day he said it could have been a girl or a boy. We went from 4 or 5 to 7, 8, 9, 10. And now the child has dark hair and can't really describe the toy. But he's not going to stop talking about seeing the child.
What do you think this was during the day?
5:15.
Five.
No, sorry. We left about 5:30, so it'd been like 5:40.
5:40.
Hey,
Okay.
Hand me my bottle with her, please.
All right. So when you're sitting there, you're putting power steering fluid in your vehicle, and you notice a child with a. Tell me a little bit about the child you noticed. What did you see? What was going on? What you can remember? I know it's been 2.5, almost 3 years, so I know it's hard. But if you can remember anything from maybe what the kid was wearing, what the kid looked like.
I just know he had dark brown hair. He was taller, like had to have been 8, 9, 10 years old. Did not look anything. Not. I mean, mind you, it wasn't a clear picture. You know what I mean? I wasn't really trying to pay attention. You know.
Yeah, you was putting power steering.
Always pay attention to my surroundings all the time. You know. But nothing was unusual about it. Like you just seemed like a normal kid just playing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you say he had a toy. Do you remember what kind of toy he may have had?
No. I didn't pay attention again. I just know he was playing with something is all I know.
And you didn't see nobody else around the kid. Was he in a yard?
Yeah, he was in the neighbor's yard, yeah. Or one of the people's yards off of East Street, but
okay.
I assumed it was just
So
somebody's kid.
he wasn't playing in none of the fields over there.
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to get at. Was he in the field or was he near, because a lot of that is
outside.
Okay, we got a couple comments you want to address. Just Me, who was not our moderator friend, Just Me, that just had a birthday last week, because he didn't know he needed the power steering fluid until he started driving. How do you know this? You see, every time you come into chat, we know that you are not going to stop blaming Tyler and Brandy. We know that. So the fact that you want to keep taking up for these derelicts You know, you've already been blocked once in your back. Now tell me how you know, because that's not what he told me, that he didn't know he needed the power steering fluid until he started driving. Royal Blue said, last time I checked, false reporting is a crime. Why isn't he in trouble for lying about him being in the backyard? Because it wasn't a lie. They excavated the backyard and they found evidence that he had been in the backyard and evidence in the house. And I think his lies are probably, not to speak for LE, I'm sure his lies are the least of their issues right now. It's much easier for them to do their job while these suspects are talking. Go ahead, Kristen.
You know what, Brooks? Do you think Ellie would have thought his lead would have been credible? I mean, when I hear the word credible, it doesn't really fit with Stacy. And we know Chief Huff is a lot smarter than I am. So I think I just don't know if he'd think it was a credible lead.
Yeah, I think that there was other evidence to back it up. And so when they put all that in front of the judge and they got the arrest warrant and the warrant to dig up the yard, it was more than just this person said. They approached him. I would love to read that affidavit.
Me too.
And the dogs hit back there. So after he gave the tip and the dogs hit, here you go. Sarah said that Michael was in the neighbor's yard. They did drones. They ran the dogs through. Nothing came up. Hence why Sarah and Stacy's trap house, their backyard was dug up and searched, and not the neighbor Sarah was trying to blame.
Neighbors outside the house, like in the front yard.
Across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. Okay. So how long do you think he was there putting power steering fluid in the vehicle?
At max 30 seconds. It doesn't take very long.
And then you jump in and you leave from there and you continue down 8th Street to go to Brandon's, his mother's house?
In Cuna?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you remember, but I know it's been a long time. I know this is probably a trick on you. You might not remember. Do you remember what Brandon and Sarah were wearing that day?
No.
No way you don't remember at all?
No.
Were they dressed?
Brandon always wore shorts usually in the summertime, so I'd assume it was shorts. Sarah.
Okay, let's talk about that. And I know Stacy's watching. I have a text from him. He is describing Brandon having shorts on. As you know, last week, I asked him, who is this? Oh, that's nobody. That's just a guy that walks around. That's nobody. That's just a guy that walks around. Just your opinion only. Does this look to be about the same build as Brandon Shirtlift? It's just our opinion. We're not on the case.
Yes. It does.
But he skipped away from that real quick. You hate him, but you let him get the herps from Sarah to the point where you couldn't sleep because of all their moaning and groaning.
There's a question from Smack My Ass, which I love that. I don't know who the Newmans are. Do you know who the Newmans are?
Yes, and that will have to be for another show.
Okay. That was just a name I hadn't seen before, so I thought I would ask. Moving along.
Britt said, Brandon seems less in shape than this person appears, but it's possible. Looks like Brandon to me because I don't believe it's Caesar.
That's what a lot of people thought at first. I saw a lot of postings that it was Caesar. But if you look back to the pictures of Brandon when he lived there, I can see it.
Yep. He also said that that was in front of his house, which is not true because, see, he corrected that with me. He also stated that that gentleman walks the neighborhood all the time and lives near their home. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and remember, oops, sorry.
Probably wore her jeans, if I had to guess.
I was just going to say, remember how he said how lazy Brandon was.
And he.
What's that, Christina? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I
know we're all over the place. Go ahead.
He said how lazy Brandon was, and we have pictures of Brandon laying on the couch and not doing much of anything. And now all of a sudden he's walking the neighborhood all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Can anyone say that possibly, just opinion only, we're just talking, that Sarah Manson with the herps seemed to have everybody on errands that day for something she wanted done for her? Had a lot of activity going that day. And to me, it looks like she runs the circus. She pulls the strings. We have a comment from Lisa. She said, if this whole shit show isn't the epitome of you are the company you keep, I don't know what it is. Yeah, sometimes they say you can judge a person by their enemies, which I agree, but you can also judge a person by their friends. Welcome, Truth Seeker. We have a new person in here. Hello, Truth Seeker. All right, Christina, I know you have a lot to say.
That's all I got right now.
I'm going to get you a cowbell you can ring when I need to.
No. Oh my gosh. I went on that channel the other night for the first time ever, and I was like astounded. No cowbells. No.
You don't need more cowbell?
Well, okay. So I have a thing about Christopher Walken, but we won't go there today either.
The only cure is more cowbell. I got a fever.
I got a fever for more cowbell. Will Ferrell and Christopher Walken. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting Christina a cowbell.
He usually wears shorts.
Yeah.
You ever know Brandon to wear shirts with like cut off sleeves or anything?
No.
Never seen him with no cut off sleeves. Okay, now at that point y'all leave there. Y'all don't stop no more in the neighborhood, right? Correct?
You don't what?
Y'all don't stop in the neighborhood no more after putting the power steering.
Not at all.
Okay, so now y'all leave down 8th Street and then you're heading towards Kuna, you said, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is really important because we have two different stories. Brandon mentions stopping at the Chevron at 7 o'clock. The timeline for Michael's abduction is between 6:40 and 7 o'clock. Would it make sense that they actually ventured out around 6:30? As Stacy says, he doesn't really remember. It's been about 2.5 years ago. We know that they were outside of an Applebee's at 4:47, either in Boise or in Nampa. Brandon puts them at the Chevron at 7 o'clock that night. According to law enforcement's timeline, the abduction occurred between 6:40 and 7 o'clock. And I'm not going to be surprised if that doesn't get narrowed down. What are you thinking, Christina?
I think Brandon and Stacy are on two different pages, or they didn't memorize the script well enough, because it's completely, the timeline just doesn't add up.
Nope, but I have a feeling law enforcement has a timeline.
Correct.
All right. So on the way to Kuna, did you stop anywhere to go to the bathroom? Stop
No.
to get anything to drink? Nothing on the way. So you was already gassed up.
No, we already had gas in the truck. I always kept the truck full.
All right, Master Mechanic says, I always keep the truck full. But he ventures out knowing he's got a power steering problem and waits till he gets down the road a little ways to stop and put power steering fluid in the truck, but he always keeps it gassed up. See where I'm going with this? And this is right before the tow.
90% of the time, the truck was always full on gas.
Okay. And when y'all came up out of A Street, what direction did you go in when you came up out of A Street? Did you take a left? Did you take a right? Which way did you take?
When we left to go to Cuna, or when we came back?
Yeah, when you left.
We took a right off Whitley, going up US 95 to the interstate past the Chevron.
Okay, I got you. But y'all never stopped at that Chevron at any point?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So how long did it take you think, to get to Brandon's house?
About
an hour and a half,
45 minutes. 45 minutes. It depended. I don't remember exactly because traffic could have been. Again, that was a long time ago, so I'm trying to do the best I can. But traffic most likely was a little backed up. But traffic is only usually backed up coming from Boise to Ontario, not usually going from Boise to Ontario, or Boise to Fruitland to Boise.
Yeah, I follow you. Okay, so y'all didn't stop anywhere in between the trip. Y'all drove straight over to Brandon's, and that was his mother's house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, had the little head straps on it, but not near big enough to put a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child?
No.
All right, he's describing Brandon's duffel bag that he took to his mother's house. Tina is Brandon's mother. He clarified for us and said you couldn't fit a human in it. Did anyone get chills when he said that?
Yes, ma'am.
I would never think to put a human in a duffel bag.
Stacy, can you tell us the honest truth, please? We need Michael home. We know you're listening, and this is just crazy.
Oh, he's listening. He's listening.
This is all about Michael. We need Michael home.
We need Michael home. The truth shall set you free.
Have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, had the little head straps on it, but not near big enough to put a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Brandon. Their errand was to go to Kuna to tow back the Mercedes with the bad spark plugs, as opposed to just fixing it there and driving it back. Okay? Anyhow, but he decides to grab a duffel bag full of clothes, even though Sarah, this is according to Stacy to me, Sarah did everyone's laundry at the house. So why was it important for Brandon to use his mother's washer that night to wash his clothes? We're going to come back to that. Let's look at this. This is from JLR. This is a Facebook message between Brandon's mother and a news reporter.
Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Michael Vaughn case out of Fruitland, Idaho. 6-year-old Michael Vaughn been missing since July 27th, 2021. Where is Michael Vaughn? I want to talk about Brandon Shurtleff right now. Brandon Shurtleff He is an associate of Sarah and Stacy Wandra. Sarah Wandra recently arrested by Fruitland police with the charge of failing to report a death to LE in connection with Michael Vaughn. Police want to speak to Brandon Shurtleff right now. He is somewhere in North Dakota. Brandon Shurtleff gave me an interview last week, an exclusive interview. You need to go check out that video on my on my YouTube timeline. He tells a lot. He spills the beans and tells a lot, but he is wanted right now. But Brandon's mom, Tina, she's actually defending Brandon. She made a Facebook comment defending Brandon, and I want to share that with you right now. So the mother of Brandon Shurtleff made a comment.
Tina said, both Brandon and I have spoken to them repeatedly. They have searched my home with their dogs and found nothing. Unfortunately, they are the ones not telling the whole truth. So we have more of this. Fruitland is corrupt. I'm so sick of that narrative. Brandon knows nothing about this missing child, but they are still making this allocation. I think she means allegation. Brandon is speaking to them. He is not running or hiding because Brandon does not know anything. It's very sad what gossip and lies will do to an individual. Well, Brandon is hiding. He is not in the state. He about shit his pants when the authorities showed up to his workplace in Montana. He couldn't get out of there fast enough. He went and jumped in the hot tub in North Dakota.
On Facebook, Tina Muriel. Both Brandon and I have spoken to them repeatedly. She's talking about the police. They have searched my home with their dogs and found nothing. Unfortunately, they are the ones not telling the whole truth. Brandon knows nothing about this missing child, but they are still making these allocations. Brandon is speaking to them. He is not running or hiding because Brandon does not know anything. It's very sad what gossip and lies will do to an individual. She says allocation. So I'm thinking she's saying allegations. That's what I'm thinking. But this is from the mother. So she's saying the police are not telling the whole truth. And she's been, her home has been searched with dogs.
Bam Cat had a question about that earlier, about Tina's property being searched.
It was searched, and she also made a very snarky remark. She said the officers ate lunch there, they prayed with her, and the dogs hit that she has a leaky toilet. More enabling. Snow said Brandon, a coward hiding behind his mama. And when she says the police aren't telling the whole story, no shit, Sherlock. You're going to hear it when baby boy goes to trial, though. Idiot. I hate when people say that shit. Why hasn't anybody talked to the neighbors? Where's the CCTV? Where's the body cam? Do you really want them to show you all their cards? What's more important? What is more important? Some of these people, their fascination with their own curiosity, or the actual truth and justice for the victim. You go, Christina.
No, I was just going to say it's all about Michael. And reading that answer on Facebook or text or wherever that was, I feel like it almost sounds like Brandon wrote it himself.
I
don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised, except Brandon would not admit that dogs hit on his mama's house.
But you remember in JLR's interview, he tried to use really big words and he used them wrong. So I don't know. Allocation, aggravation, dislocation.
He's a true genius.
No.
Okay. So y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. what happens when y'all get there? What transpires at that point?
Brandon went into the house. He said he was gonna go uh, do some laundry or whatever. He's gonna get some water because he always told us he didn't like drinking our water at our house, which made no sense because he drank it all the time. Like he would drink lots of it. So
Well, I'm kind of
Huh?
like that too. I don't drink water from places I ain't from.
Yeah.
It makes you sick. It'll make you sick. Every time I
Yeah.
go and drink water and I'm not from that place, it'll make me sick. I don't know what it is. My body can't take it. If I drink bottled water, I'm okay.
Alkaline.
I can understand that. So he goes inside to wash clothes. Now, did he wash the clothes?
Okay. Love Dolly to death. Don't really care about his issues with Montezuma's revenge. Listen to this. Listen to this. Sweet Toughness, have you gotten your merchandise yet? It was sent out on Saturday. Sorry, I got off topic. I've been really stressing over people getting their merchandise this week. Okay, listen to this. Not Dolly getting the shits from water.
No.
In that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. What happens when y'all get there? What transpires at that point?
Brandon went into the house. He said he was gonna go do some laundry or whatever. He's gonna get some water because he always told us he didn't like drinking our water at our house, which made no sense because he drank it all the time. Like he would drink lots of it. So
Well, I'm kind of
Huh?
like that too. I don't drink water from places I ain't from.
Yeah.
It makes you sick. It'll make you sick. Every time I
Yeah.
go and drink water and I'm not from that place, it'll make me sick. I don't know what it is. My body can't take it. If I drink bottled water, I'm okay.
Alkaline.
I can understand that. So he goes inside to wash clothes. Now, did he wash the clothes that he was wearing?
No, he just did a change of clothes, but I
So
just
he
know
goes-
he literally. All I know, to my knowledge, he just washed the clothes that was washed in his duffel bag.
But he did change the clothes he was wearing, you said.
Yes.
Okay, so he goes in, changes clothes, washes the clothes that's in his duffel bag. Do you or Sarah ever go in the house with him?
No, Sarah and I was outside. Sorry.
You're fine.
I was outside hooking the vehicle up to the car.
Okay. What kind of vehicle do you remember? Did
Yeah,
Brandon?
it was a Mercedes Benz. It was 1999 Mercedes Benz.
1999.
Brandon was always, for some reason, he was always a fan of foreign vehicles. I could never understand it, but
Yeah, I had one of those too. It was
Okay, I don't have luck with foreign vehicles either, but I'm not the master mechanic Stacy is. How significant do you feel this public revelation is? You're in the hot seat, Christina.
Which revelation, that he washed his clothes?
Yes, that he took the duffel bag with him, but it's not big enough to get a human in. And while they're there to tow the car, which Brandon has been bugging them about for a very long time. Now, Stacy told us that it had been broke down for a couple days. Then it turns into he'd been bugging them for a long time to go and tow his car. Now, as we know, Sarah was all about Brandon's pogo stick. Okay? Big time. Big time.
It's a golden dick.
Yeah. So why, when you're in such a hurry to get this car, did you stop at your mom? I mean, while you're at your mom's house to tow this car, why did you wash clothes when Sarah washes the clothes for everyone in the home? I think the washing clothes is significant. I think bringing the duffel bag is significant. I think seeing the child when they were putting power steering fluid in is significant. I don't know what's sticking out to you.
Again, back to the timeline. Cuna is like what, 45 minutes from?
Yep.
Okay, so Brandon says they went all the way to Cuna earlier that day to get him fresh water. So there's one long trip for water. Like you couldn't just go to a Chevron and get water. And now he's bringing a whole duffel bag full of dirty ass clothes that could have been done at the Wandras.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden he changes his clothes, and Mermaid is totally right. Why would you, knowing full well you're going to get dirty, putting on a toe strap or whatever they call them, toe line, why would you change your clothes? And then where's the duffel bag, Brandon? And did you stay for the hour and a half it takes to wash a load of laundry and dry it? Or did you just leave it there for mommy to take care of?
I have a feeling he just left it in the washer. And that might be why the dogs hit on the, she said, leaky toilet at her house. There was something on those clothes.
Piece of shit. Okay, I don't remember if it was
Mercedes sucks. I don't.
I think mine was.
When it comes to fixing them, is ridiculous.
I know mine had a little piece go out, and it was a fortune. I ended up junking the car over. It was too much to fix it. So, so you hook up his Mercedes 1999 piece of crap to the GMC. So you're outside, he's inside. How long do you think that takes you to get that all hooked up and stuff like that?
Well, I had to make sure it was secure. You know what I mean? So I'd probably say it took me maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
To get everything lined up, because I had to push his car out of the driveway, and then had to,
So basically, you and Sarah just wait in the vehicle while he's inside washing clothes. What was like her demeanor like that night? Was y'all having good conversations? Was y'all getting along? How was everything in y'all's relationship at this point? Like, as far as y'all conversation wise in the vehicle?
I mean, it's hard for me to drive without music and be in the truck without music. Music is my life.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of times when Sarah and I were in the truck, even if we're just sitting somewhere, I would blast music. I would just turn the music up. I had a really good sound system in the truck. So, I think most likely at that time, it was more music than it was conversation.
Okay, so y'all were just sitting around listening to me. What kind of music do you listen to, Stacy?
You name it, I'd probably.
Are you like a classic rock guy? Are you like a metalhead? Or you like I like pop?
Well, you and I would probably get along pretty good because Five Finger Death Punch.
I like Five Finger Death Punch. They're awesome.
Okay, I like Five Finger Death Punch too. Mystic Firefly has a great comment. Music is the devil. Okay, so we can't have a TV because the devil's in it, which I put the comment up earlier. The bill from Rent-A-Center was the devil. Got tired of paying for the TV? Take it back to Rent-A-Center, or Rent-A-Center picks it up, however you want to do it. But we can listen to music, blaring the music. A couple people have a question about the dog. This is the dog. That's their dog, Oakley. That's laying under Brandon's ass. So medium-sized dog. Walk me through, Christina.
I don't know. There's just so much stuff. There's too much. Sarah's all Christian, but if you look at her TikToks, they're playing naughty music, not naughty music, but music with a lot of suggestive lyrics. And she is entertaining men other than her husband in their home.
She's a naughty girl. She was even talking on her TikTok about her sexual sins. We know that she was having, I would say, tongue relations with Adrian. She was flat out getting it on with Brandon. She had cheated on Stacy before. That's when she brought the herpes home. But the TV is the devil. Sounds to me like your twat is the devil. Because something is manipulating all of these men, you godly woman.
Right.
You godly woman. Somebody is manipulating and holding the strings. Again, is it because she's holding over their head where they live, where they're going to eat? She was like mothering them. Oh, I'll do your laundry after I get done taking care of your pogo stick. Oh, will you give me a baby? There's a lot going on in that house, and I can smell it from here, and not in a good way.
I've heard a bunch of Volbeat, Shinedown, 3 Days Grace. I like Metallica, like Skid Row.
Oh, I love Skid Row. One of my
Journey.
favorites back in the day.
Yeah, 18 to Life is my favorite song by them.
That's crazy. We probably would get along, didn't Stacey? I'm a big Sebastian Bach fan. I hate to admit it.
Oh my God.
I love
Sebastian Bach is amazing. And then I like Falling in Reverse.
Falling in Reverse is good. Okay. I got to get up.
Escape the Fate, 18 Visions, Burn Halo.
Okay. I got a good concept of the kind of music you listen to now. Okay. So
like
y'all
some rap too, but
y'all jamming out, y'all, you know, is Sarah kind of into the same stuff as you, like the same rocker type?
No.
She's not.
She would tolerate it just because she knew that's all I would play.
What kind of stuff was she into? What kind of music? Like, is she
Trey songs, R&B a lot. Trey songs, BB King, Rihanna, you know, just girl shit.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you. I listen to that. I mean, I gotta listen to it. I got a girl, so she makes me listen to that same type of stuff. Okay, so y'all sitting out there, very little conversation, just jamming out the music. And how long do you think y'all sat out there waiting on him to do the clothes? You know, just a guess.
I think he just threw him in the washer at that time. I don't think he even put him in the dryer, but I think it probably took him maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay.
About the time it took me to hook the car up and stuff. So
he washed them fairly quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think that he left the clothes behind. I think he put them in the washer and they got the hell out of there.
Because his mom wasn't home, right?
Right. Because in our interview with Stacy, he said that Brandon used the keypad to get in through the garage. Sarah did not want to use the front door, even though we know Brandon has full access to his mother's home because there was a camera there.
Right. So she wouldn't think anything weird of it if she came home to laundry in the washer. If I came home to wet laundry in the washer and I hadn't done it, I'd be a little concerned.
Well, I guess not when it's baby boys.
I guess not. Maybe
it's
Brandon.
almost like a Roberta Laundry and Brian Laundry situation.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, he's still my baby boy.
Right.
And that is sick. And let me tell you what, Sarah's mother is the same way.
Okay, from there, y'all got the car hooked up. And then where do y'all go from there?
So we took a route going through, I want to say going through Eagle Road, down to the Black Canyon Highway. I remember that take you into Payette, by Clay Peak landfill and stuff like that. But
so y'all drove past the landfill. What?
Okay. So they took a different route to come back home. They didn't take the interstate because they were towing a car. So I guess they're going slower. I don't know. He mentions they go by the Payette landfill. I know a lot of people overnight reached out to me. Well, they need to check the landfill. They need to check the landfill. The thing is, the evidence presented in the press conference last year is that Michael at one time was in that house. Well, that wasn't in the press conference. He was in the backyard. And I understand this is a very, very dark and deep subject. Also, they stopped on the way back for Sarah to pee on the side of the road. Now, I don't know how she squatted down to pee. I have no idea. I don't want to picture it. If each of them were holding one arm to balance her, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people from that area want to know why the hell they took that road to come back when they're towing. Many people have said it's a more dangerous road.
I just want to know why Brandon thought they rented a trailer for the car and put it on a trailer, and Stacy seems to think it wasn't a trailer. Can't be both.
Nope. And he was very specific about how he strapped up the Mercedes to tow it out. But this strap up and all that stuff did not take 15 minutes while Brandon went inside to wash his clothes. Where's the duffel bag? Where is the duffel bag? The duffel bag you can't fit a human in.
Probably at the landfill.
And why did he feel the need to point out that Sarah used the bathroom? What is the point in that? Why did they have to stop? Why would you even bring that up? And he was never asked a question about what you can fit in the bag. He made it clear you can't put a human in it.
Yes.
Christina, when's the last time you went to TJ Maxx and said, I'm looking for a duffel bag for my trip, but not one big enough for a human?
It's funny you say that. My daughter's going to London, so we did have to go like suitcase shopping, and I said she would need a bigger one because I want her to bring stuff back. And she said, well, Mom, I don't need one big enough to put a body in, because the one I picked out was really big. So other than that time, no, I have never thought about looking at my bags at home and saying, oh, could I fit blah, blah, blah in there?
Well, and we've talked about this in so many other cases when people answer questions that no one asked them. We saw it in the interviews with Letitia Stout. We have seen it in the interviews with Candace Wells, and we're seeing it here. We saw it last week with Stacy, with me, and now with Dolly. He said, what did he bring with him? A duffel bag. Well, how big was the duffel bag? I mean, just, is it a Nike? Is it an Under Armour? What color is it? Well, it's not anything you can put a human in.
Yeah, is it a gym bag you would take to the gym, or is it an weekend bag, which is a little bigger?
And how come Brandon, when he was spilling his guts in the hot tub with JLR, why would he not bring up that he had to wash clothes and that he had a duffel bag with him when he went to his mother's house? Why?
Because he's guilty.
Well,
but again, he's not pulling the strings.
No, but I think Sarah might be, and I still want to know why these men would let her put them in such a horrible predicament.
Exactly.
And let me tell you what, no empathy from me. The sympathy, empathy, cares, thoughts, and prayers go to Michael Vaughn and his family.
Absolutely.
Period. Brandon did not seem to find it important enough to bring up this duffel bag and washing clothes. Everything is speedy, speedy, speedy. Didn't take that long. Brandon didn't bring up the power steering.
No.
Fluid. Why are you all protecting Sarah? Is it because everyone has something on each other? But what an odd thing. He wasn't asked about what you can fit in the bag.
What made you decide to take a different route back than you took there?
Well, anybody that's ever tows a vehicle on the tow strap knows that.
So you took interstate there, and what, take the back with the vehicle towing?
Correct.
Is that why you chose to do that? That would make probably the most sense. Yeah, because I tow trailers. A lot of times I'll take the back route, so I don't have to get on the interstate with the trailer. So you was just circling back a different way because, and you say that took you down past the landfill, all those things, and y'all was heading back. Where was y'all heading to at that point? Back home?
Yes.
Okay. So on the way back home, Did y'all stop anywhere, or maybe stop, get a drink, use the bathroom, or any of these things on the way back?
Yeah, so we had pulled off. So we made a turn, and Sarah towing the vehicle. You know, she had never towed one before. She wanted to learn, so
you
that
wasn't
was a trade.
driving. You was a passenger. Okay. Did you drive there, or did Sarah drive to Brandon's?
No, she drove there and back.
Oh, she drove there and back. So she had
Yeah.
never towed a vehicle at this point. So you just kind of coaching her along the way as she's pulling
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So y'all pull off. You say you pull off somewhere else?
Yeah, because what happened is oh no, it was at a stoplight. We didn't.
It was at a stoplight, you said?
Yes.
So y'all didn't pull off and stop anywhere?
No.
Y'all just stopped at a stoplight?
Well, we did stop on the side of the road, but that was because the tow strap snapped.
Oh.
Because there was too much slack.
Uh-huh.
Hey, give me 1 second.
Okay.
More new details.
More new details.
Add them to the timeline, Pat.
Add them to the timeline, Pat. Pat's our timeline girl. Stacy, I know you're in chat, and if you want to come up, you are more than welcome to, because if you're claiming that you gave a false confession and you have this attorney that will bend over backwards for you, working pro bono, did you happen to tell this most trusted attorney that you gave a false confession so that the authorities would stop digging and that the family of Michael Vaughn wouldn't have to listen to the excavation going on? Now, we know that you have said that you are smarter than most law enforcement, that your father is law enforcement, that you know all their tactics. I mean, I will say, I don't know what it is about criminals, but they always love to brag about how damn sexy and smart they are.
If he could just clear up if it was a trailer or a tow strap, that's huge. Because then we know Brandon's lying.
Let me ask you this, Christina, because again, you are the expert in this. What type of a personality would someone have to have this type of thinking?
Stacy or Brandon or Sarah?
Well, let's start with Stacy.
So what I know of his past being in facilities, he's learned to adapt to his surroundings. He has to. And typically, kids that are in the system for a very long time are always on high alert, always coming up with like ways to get out of stuff to be safe. So I think that's what our friend Stacy is doing.
Okay, what about Brandon?
I can't say much about Brandon. I don't know. I think he's just lazy. Maybe he got caught up in it. I don't know why he would do something for Sarah unless she had something on him, you know, that could be potentially harmful, like to put him in jail. I don't know. But if I were Sarah, I'd already have flopped on these two. I would have already turned them over. And I guess she did, you know, she said Stacy did it, and then the highest God told her it was Adrian. So she's already given two names, but why not Brandon?
Right.
But it was Brandon that had the duffel bag. But was it really Brandon's clothes in the duffel bag?
That I don't know.
Yeah. So Stacy,
I'm gonna try to call Stacy real quick.
Okay. Come on, answer, Stacy.
you reached Faith Taxi LLC.
Okay, I'm gonna wake his ass up. Wake up, Buoy Bear.
Hi, you reached.
Hang on. Son of a bitch. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Come on, Buoy Bear. You can do it. What are you doing?
Packing my shit. What are you doing?
Packing? What, are you going on a trip?
No. I have to leave the house.
Why? You just got there.
I know. She found out. So.
She found out what?
You already know.
Oh. Where are you going to go?
Don't know. Don't even care. Have no money to do anything, so. Probably homeless again. Seems to be my fucking life.
This is horrible.
Well, yep, sure is, but nobody gives a fuck, so why should I?
Well, we've been talking on the channel trying to figure out exactly how Sarah masterminded so much stuff.
I don't know. Like, I don't have time to talk about this, folks. Like, if this is literally all we're going to talk about, I don't got time for it right now. I got way too much other shit going on. I don't care about Sarah. I don't care about Brandon. I don't care about Adrian, okay? Like, I'm overwhelmed, and I don't got time for this, so.
Ew, I got dissed. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. All right, so that's how his morning's going. Did you get on the
bitch. Karma's a bitch.
Mm. Wow, I feel dissed. I'm going to call Buoy Bear back. Hmm. Well, I'll give him a second to calm down.
Yeah, he's pretty, you can tell he's pretty upset.
Well, I mean, I would be too. I mean, if I, was just getting oral last night and now somebody found out that I was a suspect in a horrific crime and they sent me packing. It's not a really good Friday for old Buoy Bear.
Absolutely not.
Wow. So he's with somebody who has standards. Okay. Well, we're going to continue this. Who found out what? Well, I can tell you what they found out.
That Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wanderer's residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed. Evidence suggests that there are the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. This is Sarah Wanderer.
Okay, I'm going to call Stacy real quick and see if he can tune in.
I wonder if we should call her like someone with a magic vagina.
Ooh. lined with gold.
Somebody can come up with a more clever name, I'm sure, but.
Oh, you know it.
35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Sarah Wandra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. This is Sarah's husband, Stacy Wandra, 30 years old, a male. Stacy was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. Stacy's currently being held in the Washington County Jail on unrelated charges. Now, the next individuals I'm going to introduce you to, let's go at the bottom there. This is Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacy Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota. Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was...
Eve, we've been talking about Michael since 9 o'clock this morning. We're talking about the facts and the evidence in the case and what the suspects have been saying. Sorry that, you like these people. You want to be the next suspect whisperer. I heard that you were going around saying that I was fat shaming and stuff. I'm child abductor shaming. You want to see fat shaming?
First things first, where's your shitter? I've got a turtle head poking in. I got a crap on deck that could choke a donkey. Oh.
Gotta be kidding me. Have you ever seen me ever go to any other creator's channel and tell them that they're doing something wrong?
I haven't. I did watch Eve's interview the other night. I was really hoping that I would see JLR on there, though, because he interviewed Brandon. And I just think if they would have done it in tandem, like I was expecting, it would have been really interesting to see how the timelines line up. But I thought she was very polite with Stacy.
Oh, yeah. And that's the most important thing. I mean, he's talking.
Yes, absolutely. But let's be, we have to be respectful to each other because it's a team thing. Everybody is Team Michael. Everybody is Team Michael except these 4 people that Huff has indicated are the main suspects. So why are we fighting against each other? We need to work together.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. There is no reason for that.
Michael.
Staying with Sarah and Stacy Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian's currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California. I strongly encourage Shirtliff and Lucien to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close. This remains an active and ongoing investigation with conversations taking place with the Payette County Prosecutor's Office about Michael's case and those individuals involved. We also believe that there are others associated with the Wandras, Shirtliff, and Lucien who may have knowledge of Michael's abduction, and I would strongly encourage them to come forward and speak with my detectives. When we finally reach the conclusion of this investigation, and I can assure you that we will, all of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued. There's a moment in time to do the right thing and bring your information forward and cooperate. And that moment in time is now.
And that moment in time is now. Now. So who's going to cooperate? Who? They've all said plenty, except, well, Sarah and Adrian. Adrian just keeps saying that he's being set up.
I will say Eve is right. We're distracting from the main purpose, which is Monkey, Michael. And if we've been disrespectful, Brandy, I apologize. But when you
I didn't see Brandy in here saying
no,
anything.
she didn't say anything. But Brandy wouldn't, because Brandy is amazing and she's going through hell. And anything I can do to help bring Michael back, I will. But what we were talking about was the fact that Sarah somehow is able to pull the strings of those three men. And we don't know why. We don't know how. We don't know why somebody like Adrian, we don't even know how Adrian got in the mix. Did we pick him up at the airport like Brandon said, or did he just kind of show up, like Stacy said, as a taxi ride? We know Adrian was in Boise or Nampa or Fruitland, we don't really know which one, to go see his child. Awesome, that's great. But other than that, I don't think Brandon and Stacy's stories have added up at all. Their timeline is way off. The people involved is completely off. And as much as as much as I know I would try to defend my child, I think Tina is being buffaloed by her son.
Oh, 100% she is.
And Brandon is saying he's not coming back to Idaho because he has drug charges. Please.
Yeah, and all this time, hell, we offered to pay him on here. We're like, we'll pay him.
I'll pay you know what? I will call wherever it is in Idaho and I will pay your drug charges. You can plead no contest. I'll pay them. You're free to go. But just do the right thing, Brandon.
Well, it seems to me that the pipes are about to burst. You know, what do they say? You put pressure on the pipes, they eventually burst. Things aren't going well for any of these four up here. Just like things have not gone well for Michael and his family in almost 2.5 years. And it is horrific to even think about. Thank you, Mermaid. You took the words out of my mouth. If we don't talk about the suspects, we are doing the case a disservice. Right. 100%. I did not put these pictures up at a press conference. After a very thorough, ongoing, active, and still ongoing investigation. I didn't put their pictures up. Law enforcement did, because they obviously have evidence that backs up their public declaration.
They're just putting the pieces together. Once they're all together, all four of you are going down. We just need to know where Michael is.
Mystic Firefly said, and Stacy, if you're reading this, you sound like a very caring man. Please tell the truth. And the truth is, he may not know where Michael is. It could very well just be between Sarah and Brandon. Maybe Adrian overheard something. I don't know. I don't know. But you all have problems, and the only one with a warm, fluffy bed right now is Sarah, because she's in jail. The rest of you are scrambling around trying to find a place to sleep and eat. Thank you, Gaelic. Facts matter. There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate you all being here for all the right reasons, which is to talk about these cases, go through it. I understand some people don't like how we keep it a little lighter around here, just because this is not the gloom and doom channel, but that's okay. There's plenty of channels out there that look at the Misery Machine. Whoa! You watch one of their episodes, you can't sleep at night. Have you ever seen that channel before, Christina?
I haven't, no.
Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for them to cover this case. I get chills. I mean, nightmares. And it's a lot to give me nightmares, considering everything we talk about throughout the day. Thank you, Lisa, for the super sticker. Middle fingers up said, why did he say the child was at the neighbor's house? How did he know where the child lived? What do you mean? Are you saying that when Sarah said that Michael was at the neighbor's, in the neighbor's yard, and they brought the dogs and the drones and everything?
No. I think they're asking, when he was driving, he saw the child playing. And she's asking, how do you know that wasn't just his yard he was playing in?
Oh, yes, that's very telling.
Yeah, I saw a child on the side of the road. First it was on the sidewalk, and then it was in the yard. And I think that's what this person is asking. How did he know it wasn't that kid's house? Unless he knew where that kid lived or who that kid belonged to.
Well, and also it's very telling that Carson Starkey knew exactly where the Vaughns lived, exactly where Brandy worked at the time. And for someone who knows nothing, he knew a lot. I'm not saying he's involved, but I know that he's involved with at least Sarah and Stacy. They have a long history.
It's tough.
It certainly is. Well, guys, this has been a great show. I really appreciate all of your sharing Michael's pictures, standing up for him in this chat and other chats, following what law enforcement is saying. They have been saying since very early on, this is a true abduction. We have 4 suspects, and they want to talk, but they want to spin it their way because, well, seems to me less time sounds better than life, but that's just my opinion. Anything you want to add, Christina?
I wish Trevor was here because he'd say a wonderful prayer. I know. This just touches my heart as a mom and as a former educator working with little kids and big kids. And no mom should have to go to bed not knowing where her children are. And there's only a few people who know where he is. And Brandy deserves to know where her baby is.
She certainly does. She certainly does. And all the rumors and allegations and the mud slung at Tyler and Brandy. I know they say if you throw enough shit, it's eventually going to stick. Not in this case. There are 4 suspects: Sarah, Stacy, Brandon, Adrian. First to talk, first to walk. You know, as far as a motive, a lot of people ask, well, what would the motive be? What would the motive be? I don't know. what angle law enforcement has. I have zero idea. The only thing I can think of is Sarah wanted a child. That's all I can think of. But who knows how it's going to come out? Who knows how it's going to pan out? It's not going to. Michael's coming home is what his parents have always said. Michael is coming home. So on that note, everyone, I hope that you have a tremendous Friday. Try to stay warm. There's another Arctic blast coming through. Christina said she had another storm.
We did last night. Yeah. They actually had a backup of like 75 cars on our main highway, not too far from here, but I live in the middle of nowhere. So it was bad at whiteout conditions for quite a while, like for hours.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with anything like that. Our snow is totally melted. Anyone else having a Arctic blast coming through? I don't think you're not really going to be able to compare with Christina's snow and like the snow they're getting in upstate New York. Oh my gosh, when I saw that storm in Buffalo, OJ and I couldn't take our eyes off of it. I was getting blinded just watching the TV. Not for me, my friends, but what is for me is all of you and the fact that we come together every day to talk about these cases. We laugh, we joke, we cry, but thank you to all the gifted memberships today. Thank you so much for the donations to the channel. Becoming new members, you're going to like it. Trust me, we have a lot of fun here. We actually have another members live coming up in a few days. If we could get Trevor to come up, because we didn't get to do our trivia game the last time. Anyone up for that? Do something a little light and hearty. We're all mad here said today I cried. Me too. I got choked up many times. That's why I kept telling Christina, walk me through it. I need to take a deep breath. Let's look at this while I breathe. Let's do it. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Mod Squad, for keeping everything cool and calm like you always do. And thank you to all of you who are here every day for the right reasons and are the best chat and best community on YouTube. And to our beautiful co-host, let's have a huge round of applause. Keep sharing Michael's picture. Keep your eyes out for what's going on, because even a little bit of truths help law enforcement. Thank you, nerdy girl. Me love you long time. Great job, Christina. You are amazing.
Team Michael. We're all for Michael. Just remember that.
100%. 100%. And I mean, I will say, we talk about a lot of different cases on this channel. And this case certainly takes my breath away. Now, I do know Adrian wants to talk, and he wants to talk soon. So whether he comes on this channel or another, I would love to hear from him, because I think his side of the story is going to be very, very telling. I almost believe him that he was set up, but I don't know. More will come out. But again, have a great rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend. And I will see you back here, possibly over the weekend. If not, I will see you back here Monday morning at 9 a.m. We're out, Christina.
Peace out.
Peace out.